Alguém pode fechar a porta? O Daniel, fecha a porta, por favor. Okay, Sharan, thanks for accepting this interview. We know that we are heading towards Rio Plus 20 now. In Brazil is a very important conference of the United Nations. What's the role of the labour movement in proposing and giving an answer to a better future for people? What's the plan for the labour movement there?
We know that the world must transition to a greener economy. We know that there are no jobs on a dead planet, and that our legacy to our children and grandchildren must be a healthy planet. It must be a different kind of economy. A green economy must have principles of inclusion, where people have the dignity of decent work, where the technology is as green as we can make it, where growth is more equitable so that the developing and emerging economies have a chance to catch up, that their people can improve their living standards. But we know we can do that on a sustainable basis. So our report, Green Jobs, actually shows that with 2% investment each year for 5 years, then we can have almost 48 million new jobs in just 12 countries. Brazil is one of those countries, and indeed that level of investment in sustainable development in transport, in construction, in energy and in agriculture can see 11 million new jobs. That's real optimism, but it's about building the future. So when we go to Rio, we're looking for green jobs, we're looking for social protection, the social protection floor that means everybody has that basic support, both in transitioning to a green economy, but in terms of our societies generally. And of course, we want the bankers to pay. We want a financial transactions tax where they pay just a small amount to not just repair the damage they've done with the greed of the current financial sector, but indeed to contribute to sustainable development. And of course, we want food and energy security. So for us, a green economy is not the model of capitalism we have now. A green economy is about sustainability, it's about inclusion, it's about decent work and the dignity of a more equitable society.
Could you go a little further on the report of the ITUC? Because that's this impression that the transition to a green economy will actually mean that workers will lose their jobs.
If you look at the demand in our economy, you have to provide 50% more food by 2050, 45% more energy, and 30% more water. There are incredible opportunities there for economies like Brazil, where you have such a rich agricultural base, where you have actually looked to preserve the forestation, where you've looked at the water conservation questions. These are areas where we can create jobs, new jobs, that meet the demands of the planet. That's the same in every country. If we don't do these things, then we don't meet those challenges, so people will starve, there will not be enough energy, and of course, without water, none of us can survive. If we meet those demands and we have a sustainable planet, then the legacy we hand on is a very rich one to our children and grandchildren. There will be transition in jobs, but what we tried to do with our Green Jobs report was to actually show that in traditional areas, not some new fantasy areas, but in traditional areas like transport, construction, manufacturing, water, agriculture, forestry, these areas actually need to become greener. And that transition can provide both things, both jobs that exist now, transitioning to a greener economy, and new jobs as we increase investment to meet that increasing demand for energy, water and food. This is the future. You don't want to have people sitting 4 hours in commuting around Sao Paulo. If you have a rapid mass green transport system, then you get more productivity, people's lives are enriched, and there are more jobs, right through the supply chains, including the service itself. So we want to engage with governments in the construction of a greener economy that supports workers through the transition, but builds those new jobs, additional jobs, that mean that we've got a better chance of the dignity of decent work for everybody.
And the final question is about, we are here in the Tuca Congress, which represents the whole region. So what's the importance of the Americas in searching for these answers, and in particular Brazil, that will host the next Rio Plus 20 conference?
The importance of the Americas is absolutely critical. For South America, an incredible dynamism in terms of global growth. The opportunities are endless for development, for social inclusion, for those jobs that give people the dignity that we know comes with labour, with decent work. But we must make these economies greener economies. We must make every economy in the world greener economies. So development, absolutely. We come from the trade union movement, and development means jobs. We want job-centred growth, not the jobless growth of the 20th century model of capitalism, but the job-centred growth to a much greener and more sustainable future that must be built on a 21st century model of development where people matter.
Sharan, thank you very much.
Thank you.